Hey everyone, we want to welcome you to our Facebook Live, the Loveless Marriage Podcast. We're doing our question and answer tonight. My name is Carl Butler. For those of you all who may be tuning in for the first time, here with my lovely wife. I know she wants to say her own name.
Hi guys, my name is Ebony Butler.
All right, well, we see everybody coming in. We want you to come in, and this Facebook Live is based off of our first two podcast videos. The first one is "Love Is Not All You Need." And the second one we posted today, which was...
Does size really matter?
Yeah, the size really matter.
So
Ring size. Does ring size really matter? And so we appreciate everyone for tuning in. We see you as you're coming in. If you have any questions about the videos, we want you to ask your questions. Ask your questions. Type in your questions. Hey, what's up, Mocha? Say your name. We said our name.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. I'm Ebony.
And I'm Carl Butler once again.
For those of you that are just tuning in, and we are the Loveless Marriage. And again, we are so glad that you all decided to tune in to listen to us this evening. Not only are we going to talk about our episode 1 and 2, but any questions that you may have, or any questions, any feedback that you may have, we're asking you to go ahead and type your life away. Let us know what you think, your thoughts and your feelings. And also we have a few announcements tonight that we want to make to you all to let you all know what's going on in the Loveless Marriage. And we hope that you will stay tuned for 2018 to ride this wave of friendship that we have going on.
Yeah, so hey, I see my sisters on, Alice and Nicole. As you come on, we want you to, it's on the screen, like and share the video. There it is right there. Yeah, right there. Like and share the video as you come in. We want this to reach as many people as possible. Please like the video, share the video. We see some hearts already.
Hello, Chris and Mocha. Hello, Cousin Damaris. Hello, Sister Rosalind, Sister Angela, Mr. Ray, Penny. See, look, Mr. Ray, I did decide to marry him. I kept him around. Let me see who else is on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to scroll. Sister Allison.
What up, Damaris? And Winston.
Dr. Matista Wilburn, my friends, Tamara, and let me see who else. My brother-in-law, Gary Price, Katrina.
Thank you, Allison, for sharing the video. Share the video as you come in.
Yes, and my sister-in-law, Miss Allison.
So. All right. Also on our YouTube, for those of y'all who don't know what the Loveless Marriage is, want you to go to our YouTube page and subscribe to the Loveless Marriage Podcast. It's a podcast that me and Ebony do every week. We post the videos early Monday morning. As you can see there on the screen, we have 53 subscribers right now, and it's only been a week. So we have over 250 views, and we're going to be talking about tonight the latest video, Does Ring Size Matter? Does ring size matter?
And thank you, too. Last time I checked when I was at work on our first video, I think we were up to 222 people that viewed, and I think we were at 64 who viewed today's post. So we really do appreciate it. We also said that we were going to talk to you all about why we decided to do this podcast. So I guess we can kind of start to let you all know, for some of you all that didn't watch our intro video, because Carl, not to be offensive, but he's like the edit king. So if he thinks it's too long, he's going to cut out all the information that you all probably with some good juicy stuff that y'all really wanted to know, but he edited it out because he felt like it was not relevant. And I was a little offended about that. So now that we are live,
it's a lot of rambling.
Whatever. Now that we are live and you guys have been home all day celebrating the King, hallelujah, Dr. King, y'all can listen to us ramble in person. But again, I'll start because ladies first. My name is Ebony Butler, formerly known as Ebony Littleton, Ebony Price, and now Ebony Butler. But no, seriously, my maiden name was Ebony Littleton. But I got married first at 19 years old, and I was divorced at 35. So this year, actually, we sat down. We were at Carl's grandfather's funeral, and we were talking with some of his cousins, which are so sweet. I love them. And we were saying between us, I would have been married this year in my first marriage for 19 years. And I believe Carl said he would have been married for
8.
no, you said 10.
Yeah, 10.
Jesus.
By that time.
Yeah, by this year. So we're doing this podcast for us to help some people maybe not make some of the mistakes that we did in our first marriage, and to be truthful and to be honest, and to hold on real quick. Thank you, Shamarla, from tuning in all the way from Switzerland. Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate you. But we wanted to tell the truth about marriage, because oftentimes people are not really honest. People are not truthful about what goes on. And we really wanted to talk about the good, the bad, and ugly of relationships. So that's my take on it. Mr. Butler, it is your turn.
Well, thank you.
Really?
No, but I agree with everything Ebony said. I hate to see those couples that post online every day and that post, if you do what we're doing, your marriage will work. There's no formula to marriage. There's no formula to love. Whatever works for you, do what works for you. We're in no way saying that we're experts in this. We're just saying, have fun on this journey with us. I think that's kind of what the Loveless marriage is. It's that number one, we didn't marry for love. Love was not our top priority. Do we love each other? Yes, but it wasn't our top priority. I think so often we're so stuck to that image of love that I'm a marry this person just because I'm so in love with them, because you're so infatuated with them. But love doesn't, as we talked about in our first video that I cut out a lot, but as we talked about, love doesn't know how to pay bills on time. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean they know how to treat you. Doesn't mean that they have a good work ethic. Doesn't mean that they, know how to be a husband, know how to be a wife. Love is one thing, but when it comes to marriage, you need to marry someone that you are compatible with. Not only love, but that you're compatible with. So that's the reason for the Loveless marriage. For everyone who was offended by the title, we do love each other. Love is a building process. It's amazing when we say love. I don't believe you know until some time has been in, because love has to be proven. When the Bible says that love is selfless, love doesn't seek to be bolstered within itself. That stuff takes time. It takes time. When it says love is long suffering, how do you love someone you've only dated for a year, and the Bible says love is long suffering? You don't know you love that person until you have suffered through some things.
Right. And
you can look at that person 10, 20 years later and say, I love you. And I know I love you because I'm still here. Even the Bible speaks on, how do we know Christ loved us? We didn't know he loved us until he gave his life for us, until the end. And so his love had to be proven for us by him giving his life. The word says what? No greater love than a man would lay down his life for his friends. Love is proven. And so we're just trying to change that perception of, you meet someone in 6 months, you're in love. No, you're not. So at least that's our take. Our take isn't gospel, just like we said. It's what works for us. And so we hope that you'll share some of our thoughts, our experiences. Amen. Sister Ramon, I see you.
And actually, it's so funny that you said that, because yes, we are both believers, and some of the things that we will talk about are scripturally referenced in the Bible. So we're not afraid to have a good debate and a good discussion, as long as we will say this, as long as you're just open.
Yeah.
So even speaking about love for a woman, oftentimes we've been taught love differently than men. And if you would like to see the scriptures in Ephesians 5, it instructs the husband actually to love the wife. It is my job as his wife is to honor him and to respect him. That is my job. And I know it kind of tripped me out when I would read certain things in the word about it, and then I would listen to other I would say another great reference is Dr. Miles Monroe and his teaching on relationships and marriage, and the hierarchy of relationships and love, and how it's structured and how God sees it. I look at it totally different than I did at 19. Now at 38 years old, I look at it different. And also, I would say just not looking at it from a love point of view, but a purpose point of view.
Yeah.
what is my purpose in your life and what is your purpose in our life? Because if we are about God and about kingdom, our ultimate purpose in the world is our relationship should reflect the kingdom of God and what God sees when he sees marriage, when he sees husbands. That's why Christ, the biggest commandment to me for a husband, and as he instructs them, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. So that's a lot of long suffering.
Yeah.
That's a lot of forgiveness. That's a lot of patience. And, we said for us that and one of our good friends, she sent me a text before we got married, and she said, Ebony, let your love evolve. And that's growing. And sometimes, everybody might not understand your relationship. They might not understand, why you're with this person, because for Carl, I don't know if it's for him, but Carl may not have been what I would have perceived as somebody that I would have been with, because, we all have our, what do we call it?
All tight.
Our type.
Yeah.
And, my personality is different than Carl's personality. I'm an extrovert and he's an introvert, but I would say kingdom wise, Carl and I are headed both in the same direction.
Yeah.
And we have a clear view of what God has for both of our lives, and then what we want to accomplish, not just between he and I, but what we want to help other people. So like we said, our journey is just to help people. Yes, we may not look like what people may have thought, and I might not be the quote unquote first lady look for his life because he's an elder and all of that wonderfulness. But I believe that when I saw Carl, I saw purpose in him. And I knew that the moment I saw him, even though I was getting over certain things in my life, I knew that I wanted to help him become a great man. And for a woman, that's the nurturing side of us. And that's something that that's something that only God can give us when we're connected to God and connected to purpose and connected to prayer and a bunch of other things. But I'm glad that he did decide. That's one thing that he said when he asked me to marry him. He said, I couldn't see anybody else in life that I would want to do life with. And that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, and just speaking to that, number one, we married more for purpose than love. I think that's the first thing, because our purpose. And I want to address something that Ebony said, is that she said people may not see her as the first lady type. I think in church, man, we get so caught up on and people would actually say stuff like that to me because I'm a preacher. Oh, you got to marry a first lady. She got to look like a. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing. We marry. I think sometimes church people, we're the most gullible people. And that's why even in the church, divorce is at a 50% rate, because we marry according to the anointing. We marry because, a person is anointed. We marry because, they look like a first lady. They look like a pastor. And so, but when the anointing wears off, you have to live with that person. Like you have to live with that person. You have to deal with that person. You have to live life. And so that's all we're saying, is that you really have to live life with this person. So pick someone that you can do life with and not just do church with. Because so many times, we're just happy if we can just do church with somebody, and then outside of church, you're miserable. And so I think we've experienced that, if anyone has been to church any amount of time. But yeah, pick somebody that you can do life with. But what we're doing tonight is that we're answering questions. And I see Angela come in. I ain't gonna lie. Angela watched the video this morning and Angela really she really served me this morning. I was like, okay, I read that comment. I said, okay, it's all good. So I was like, I had to take a look at myself for a minute.
That's right. Check him, Angela. Check him.
But, and I will say this, is that Angela is also one of the people in our circle. She's one of the people that are on the board for my conference, the Purpose Experience. And I love having people around me that are not just going to say yes to everything. When you have yes people around you, you're losing. I love people that can actually speak their mind and say what they want to say to me. But and so we're going to get into the first question. Oh my gosh. Now y'all read, I'm about to put what Angela wrote on the screen. Angela.
Now keep in mind, y'all, when we're reading this, so we have like 2 screens going on. So we do see you all, and we are so happy for you all that are tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this with your family or friends. We're going to have a good time tonight, and we are going to address some of the questions that people have message us on YouTube, and some personal questions that people have asked us in private. So we're going to discuss those, and I will let out a little small secret. We did say that we will go live once a month. So this is our live for January. So soak it up while you can. And like I did tell you on a previous podcast, I will change my hair from time to time. So today I had to, because I haven't made it to the salon yet, but I will come through. I always will come through for you. But the first question is Sister Angela, our good friend, Sister Angela. And please look her up too. She is an entrepreneur.
She is.
She has a cute little girl's clothing store. So please look her up. And Angela, put the name of the clothing store up there so we can share with our friends so they can come and check you out.
So I'm gonna read this first question / comment, saying it was directed towards me.
That's right.
And so
kill them.
It's all good though. Okay. We were talking about rings, and the meme. Well, you have to watch the video. Go watch the video after the Facebook Live tonight on YouTube. But we were talking about, should ring size and price matter? And it was a picture of a $48 ring, and it had the caption, "Ladies, would you say yes to this ring?" And so it says a $50 ring. This is what Angela commented on our YouTube channel. A $50 comment makes me wonder if the man is even able to pay the mortgage / rent, utilities and bills, etc. If your preparation only allowed you a $50 ring, I'm sorry, but I'm worried about how our household will hold up. I've struggled in the past alone, and as both stated, why go into a new marriage struggling? So a cheap ring for me doesn't make me think about status or value. It's making me wonder if we are even ready to take on this new life. That is a really great point.
And that's a powerful point.
It's a powerful point because in the video, Ebony spoke about, as men, she thinks men should prepare for that day.
Right.
She thinks that if eventually you're going to marry someone, so why not be saving for a ring? Why not be? And I'm going to be honest. If I can answer, you want to say anything before I answer?
I'm going to let you talk.
Like, I'm gonna let you hang yourself.
That's right.
But no, okay. I'm gonna be really.
He gonna clean it up tonight, y'all.
No, I'm not clean it up. I'm a help people understand why I believe that, because when I got divorced at 30, I suffered with depression, and so I lost my job, and I took a job at the airport that I worked for 3 years, and it was well beneath what I should have been making. I was making $8.50 an hour. No lie, 30 years old, $8.50 an hour. I am miles away from that today. But when I met Ebony, I was just coming off that job and starting pretty much my own business, starting to be, an independent contractor. And so I didn't have a lot of money, but I knew I wanted to marry her. And so just to fast forward, the ring I got her is a nice ring, but it's not even the ring I wanted to get her. But she loves it. I love it. And so I say all that just to say this. To answer that, sometimes you have to look at the potential of the man as whether or not if he can afford a nice ring, is he prepared for life? Yes, because I couldn't afford the best ring. But to this day, I pay the majority of our bills. Even whether it's the house note, every once in a while, she'll tell me, could you deposit $300-$400 in the account, and the money's going to be there. I say, okay, give me 2 or 3 days, and the money's going to be in the account. Now, if she would have based that off of how much of a ring I could have afforded, then she would have missed out on someone who can provide. And see, and me as a man watching my father, he wasn't concerned about the material things. But to this day, since my parents have been married, and my sister is on here, and she'll tell you, my dad pays all of the bills, the mortgage, the utilities, car notes, insurance, everything. He's just that type of man, but he's never been into like the material side. And I kind of want to be the same way. So coming into this, I knew Ebony had 4 daughters,
Right.
and I knew I had to support a household. And to be honest with you, I just thought about this today. I don't even know how much you make. I literally have no idea how much she makes, because on her pay period, I don't go to her and be like, I need. If anything, she tells me what she needs. And so her ring isn't reflective of that, though. And so you have to look at the potential of the man. Now, if I was a man while we were dating, and while we were dating, she would call me and I would say, I've been at work today 14 hours. I've been at work today 12 hours. Now, while we were dating, if she would have called me and I'm like, yeah, I'm just at home playing a video game. yeah, I'm just at home, sleep. Yeah, I'm 30 years old and I'm trying to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like if I wouldn't have had potential and I'm saying I can't afford to get you a nice ring, that's a cause to worry, because it goes beyond the ring and it says, I can't provide a living for you. But see, and I thought about it. I was thinking about it today when Angela mentioned it, and it really hit me, not in a bad way, but it just hit me because it makes sense what she's saying, but you have to put it into perspective. Because when we got married, I paid for our honeymoon, the flights, the hotel, everything. Right. Even when we got down there, all of our spending money, I could have took that and put it into a nicer ring. But we both agreed we need to take a trip. Like
before, yeah, I told him, I said, let me help you. I've been with these children. At that time, what was it? 16, 15, 10, and 5 or 6 or whatever. How old these kids is, I don't know. Yeah. What you're about to enter into, you've never had to experience that before. So I want you to be well rested. I want you to get your life, get all your loving in, all your personal attention and needs in right now while we're in this wonderful Miami, Florida for these next 3-4 days. Because after that, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Until they go visit with their father.
We wanted that gap before we started real life. And so to Angela's point, it's a great point, and you're absolutely right. But you have to look at the potential of the man. If he's not working now and he has no drive, Ebony saw drive in me. She saw potential. She saw that I was a hard worker.
Can I tell her what I saw?
I know what you saw. I know what you saw.
They my eyes. Let me tell her what I seen.
Go ahead and repeat what you saw.
Go ahead and talk.
And so, but you have to look at the potential of a man, because there's a difference in a man who can't afford a ring and can't afford to provide a living.
Right.
But there's also a man who may not be able to buy the best ring, but he can provide a great living. So it's a case by case basis. But no, Angela made a really good point, because some men, if they can't afford the ring, they can't afford life. But then some men, they don't care about the material side, but the man can provide a great living. Like I said, I don't know how much my wife makes, and I'm thinking like, okay, but no.
What you thinking?
I'm good.
You want to know?
No, I'm good.
You can ask me.
But no.
And I will say this, and with our relationship, is probably a lot different. When I met Carl, I was focused on, let me backtrack. There was some things that I had already been through in relationships before, in prior relationships, and I don't want to say a certain way I was accustomed to living, but I was used to my father being a hardworking man. I've seen my father get up and work 2 jobs and provide for me and my mom. My mom is a working woman now, and my dad still is working now. So there were certain things that I saw and I were accustomed to, and I would say Carl is right. Number one, I would say, looking for a spouse, pay attention to the patterns. See how he is. First of all, I'm not going to entertain anybody that does not have a job. Mm-hmm. And let me say that again. I will not personally, this is Ebony. Now you do whatever you want to do. Again, we say whatever works for you, works for you. But I would not personally entertain anyone that does not have a job, because I'm not going to be getting up, going to work every day. And you're not. Mm-hmm. That's just what's not going to happen. For me, when I became a single mom, and yes, my children's father are in their life, but I have custody of my children. So immediately when I took on that large responsibility, I always knew I have to work to provide for these children. And whoever comes in my life, I would expect nothing more than less for them to come and provide as well. I wasn't going to marry somebody that I didn't know that was not hardworking, that didn't have the ability to help provide. Also, with Carl, like he said, and some of you may or may not know, Carl doesn't have any children. So in my mind, that was scary to be honest, that was scary for me, because having 4 children, that's a big undertaking and that's a big haul. And that was one of my questions to God, because not only, yes, I entered into a relationship, but not only that, I looked to see if Carl could provide, and I also prayed. And I would say that was a big thing for me. I prayed and I asked God some questions about our relationship, and even about even continuing and starting. And one of my questions for God was, Lord, he's a single man. He doesn't have a family. Help me, show me that he's going to be able to provide the finances to be able to take care of my children. And I believe that's a woman of wisdom. If you have not seen your significant other or spouse, his work habits, if you can ask them, how many jobs have you had within the last year? How many times have you called off? Those are important questions to ask, and those patterns and behaviors do set the course of your relationship. Now, keep in mind, there are some men that will play nice and sweet until you get married, and they'll become lazy. But I will say this, you've seen the patterns before. Mm-hmm. So that for me is a telltale sign. Like Carl is right. I did see a good, hardworking man. I did talk to him. He would text me. He wouldn't call. We wouldn't be on the phone talking all day and texting all day. Why? Because I knew he was at work and he knew I was at work. Now, when he had breaks, did he call me? Absolutely. But I saw that he had initiative. I saw that he had drive. I saw that he wanted greater. And sometimes you will meet somebody that may not be making $25 an hour. Maybe they are making $10 an hour, but with that $10 an hour, they're making it work. And maybe they have taken on a second job. So I would say, yes, I still believe that it is as great a man's job, not only to prepare for his wife, but prepare himself for what he's about to undertake. And that's a man of wisdom. Yeah. Because of course, like we said, God presents us with people, but God also gives us wise instruction and prepare. I've presented you with this woman. This woman can be everything that I'm needing for her to be in your life. But if you're not prepared for her, you will miss your moment. And another man that's prepared will come in and take and see, because men watch.
Yeah. And going back to what you just said about how, like the job situation, there were many women when I was working at the airport that passed on me because I was making $8.50 an hour, and I can't be mad at that, because, and also when I was making $8.50 an hour at the airport, I had another job. I was working 7 days a week, so it wasn't just that, but I was working just to survive at the time, and so I was doing 7 days a week, and I did that for 3 years. From the time I was 30 to I was 33, I believe, and so. And right before I met Ebony, I was doing that. A lot of people don't know that, and so it speaks to your character also. Right. You don't just sit back and say all I'm making is $8 an hour, so it is what it is. No, you get 2-3 jobs. My sister, she's on here. We saw my dad work 3 jobs. Get up at 4 a.m. and come home at 11 at night, and he did that for years to maintain his household. And it's like And as far as those who passed on me, I get it, but it speaks to they didn't see more than what they saw. Right. A lot of times you have to look at a man and you have to see more than what you see. Right. You have to see potential. You have to see, okay, yes, he's not making a lot of money, but he's a hard worker. I can work with that. A lot of times we just want the package to come already gift wrapped and a bow on it, but a lot of times it's not like that. I want to address what Patrick said. He made a comment. He said, right, however, I truly believe it's ultimately up to what the woman wants. I have learned to just be quiet in the jewelry store and let my woman pick the ring she wants. Now, that comment means a lot to me because, number one, he's dating my sister. So
hi, Patrick and Allison.
But I'll say this. That is true, but you also have to set some type of boundary or guideline according to whatever you make. You know, if your girl pick out a $10,000 ring, which I would love to buy Ebony, you know, a $10,000 3-carat ring.
Come on, Jesus.
But it's gonna put you in the hole. Y'all gonna start out and once again, we talked about this in the YouTube video. So after this Facebook live Q&A, go watch the Facebook video, the YouTube video. We talked about not starting your marriage in debt because so many people go in debt for the ring, they go in debt for the wedding, and they start their marriage under pressure. And it just adds stress to an already new situation. And getting married again is stressful in itself. Getting married, period, is stressful in itself.
Right.
Just that adjustment period. And so you don't want to add more stress. So yeah, I agree. You know, in the jewelry store, I agree about staying quiet, but also you have to set boundaries. Someone made a comment. Latrice Johnson. You want to read that?
That's my friend.
Okay.
Hi, Treese. It says, how did you know it was right the second time? Okay. For me, when I guess we have an interesting backstory to how I met Carl. And I know he doesn't care because we've shared it in conversations with people. But for me, there's a person that I had dated before Carl, and I thought that person was going to be in my life because where I thought, quote unquote, the direction of the relationship was headed. But it ended. And at that time, I told God, I said, I'm done with this. I'm not going to do this no more. You know, let me just, I don't want to say bury myself in you, God, but let me just get over the relationship, refocus my energy in God, and I'm gonna be cool being single because I'm tired of these games and I'm tired of getting my feelings hurt and I'm tired of putting myself out there only to feel stupid in the end, because I did question myself and I asked God, like, what is wrong with me? Something has to be wrong with me because I feel like I'm doing everything right. No, I'm not perfect, but I feel like I'm trying to be a good girlfriend, you know, somewhat of a, you know, showing some of the qualities that I would have as a wife, and then capoose. So when Carl came in my life, and it's funny, and I believe that God will send people in your path to kind of prepare you. My mom had told me, she said, there are 2 men at your church that are looking at you. And I was like, first of all, ain't no men at my church looking at me. Whatever. Second of all, I was just like, well, I don't care because I don't want to be focused on that. And I was still dealing with some hurt. So whatever. So I had told him, so one of my friends actually, and she's on here, Aisha had told, I guess Carl asked the question to Aisha. What you asked Aisha?
I said, is Ebony single? Is she seeing anybody?
I can't say what I would want to normally say. My God, Lord Jesus. Anyway. I wish he would have said a little bit more enthusiasm than that, but no, seriously. So her response to him was, well, she doesn't have a ring on her finger, and you know, she not married. And again, I said this, I think, in the first video, but Carl probably edited it because that's what he does so well. My thing was, I was not going to bring anybody to my church who I didn't feel comfortable with, because to me, church is my sanctuary. That's my happy place. And for you to come to my happy place, the place that I've been delivered from, that I've cried, snotted on the floor, ran around, you have to be dang on important to bring you up in here. So church was my Fort Knox. So Carl happened to be going to our church, and he had came with a friend, Sister Stephanie. She's one of our good friends, phenomenal singer, amazing. Anyway, but so I actually thought that they were dating, but then she told me, she's like, no, Carl's just my friend, but whatever. So when he kind of approached me, I told him, I said, you don't want to talk to me. I said, because right now, I am not in a good head space. I'll be your friend. That's all I can do for you. And I was honest with him, and he was like, that's fine with me. I just want to be your friend. And I was like, dang. And I honestly would do everything. I was kind of mean to him for him not to want to talk to me. And I would push him away. And my friends would tell me, Ebony, just give him a chance. You know, he's not like, you know, there's something different. And I knew that there was something different about Carl when he first came to our church. I knew, I was like, he's a sweetheart, and I could tell. But I was like, you know, maybe he need to talk to somebody else because I got problems. Clearly, I can't keep no relationship. Something's wrong with me. or whatever. But I would say I let him in, and our first like sit down. I don't know if it was a date. Yeah, it was our first kind of introduction. The guy I was talking to was supposed to come in town. And I came in church that Sunday and I sat down with my friend because we always sit together. And she was like, he's not going to come in town. Go out to dinner with Carl. And I was like, nope, my dude coming in town. We going to hang out after service. And she was like, no, Ebony, the guy is not coming. He's not going to show up. Go out to dinner with Carl. And I was like, okay, I don't know. So all through service, I was like kind of toiling.
When you see, fellas, when he's slipping and you see the crack in the door, kick that sucker open. Ain't gonna say slip in. You better kick that sucker open. Get that.
So you are so shady. So fast forward, I went up to him after service and I told him, I said, hey, I said, and he knew that I was talking. He knew that I was finally calling it quits. I was over with this person, closing the door. Like I said, he was still cool. He was still my friend. I said, hey, if you just want to go out to dinner just to talk, I'm up for just talking. Don't expect nothing else because ain't nothing else happening. But it was weird. Fix your face and your eyeballs. Help me, God. But after our first date and we were sitting there and we were talking and, we were conversing with each other, I sat there and I was like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to be equally yoked with someone. And I never had a thought like that come to my mind. And I had a piece about it, but it was scary because I'm like, no, it ain't supposed to be this easy. People like just don't come in your life like this. I was like trying to find 50 million things wrong with it. And it was scary to me because it was some things that I did pray for. There, Carl had a lot of qualities, and I didn't bring the tissue, even though, because I always cry, I'm emotional. He had a lot of qualities that I did pray for and I asked God for. And I believe that God will honor you when you're obedient to God and you are walking up right before him and, you are really truthful about wanting to make better choices and decisions. I believe God will bring people in your life, but you also have to change the company that you keep. And I guess that's a big thing because in my mind, I had a type. And I think if I would have been stuck on my type, it would have messed me up. And because my type was kind of like the bad boy, bad church cute boy, still on the edge a little bit, but the edge messed me up and the edge hurt me. And through my journey with Carl, I required him, and I know it sounds really crazy, like I'm a psych patient. No, but seriously, I required a lot of prayer and a lot, because I told God, and I always told God, if you give me a second chance, I promise you I'll do it right. I promise you that I'll make better choices and I'll make better decisions. And I didn't want to be presented with a great opportunity and mess it up because of what was familiar. Because always what's familiar is not always good for you. And so for me, I would honestly say, Treese, because I can talk to you because we both grew up in church. It may sound corny and it may sound traditional. Honestly, ask God. And ask God, God, even what's some of the things that need to be fixed inside of me, God, help me fix those things. Help me heal those things. Because sometimes secretly we can sabotage ourselves. And if we're not honest with God about, okay, you know what, God, I've been hurt in this area, or I'm used to this, or I'm used to that, and when a good person does come, we dismiss it because we're like, oh, he too soft, or he is sucker. Now, first of all, Carl is not soft at all. His hands may be soft, but he is not soft. He's not a sucker. But but if I just were to go on what I'm always used to being on, I could have missed a great guy, and somebody else could now have Carl in their life, and I could be sitting, like I joked before, in the corner crying and rocking because I'm like, well, I could have had that man. And God was like, I tried to give you somebody nice, but you didn't appreciate it. So I would honestly say, and to even women that are not in church, you can still say a prayer to God and say, God, I want a nice guy. I want a guy that has certain values that line up with the way that maybe I've been taught, or even maybe the way I haven't even been taught. Like, God, even bring somebody in my life. Like, maybe if it's a young lady and she's dealt with abuse before and she's dealt with certain self-esteem issues, you can even ask God, bring someone in, God, that does not look like my past, but looks like my future and what I know that I should be treated like. And I think sometimes we don't do that. And sometimes it may be even fear for what we honestly might get. God might honestly answer your prayers.
And I think that's what a lot of people are really afraid of. A lot of people are afraid of God actually answering your prayer because you have this image in your mind of what you really want, but can you really handle what you want? I mean, it's so shocking to sit down and have a conversation with someone and they are everything you ask God for. Like that is just shocking. Speaking to what Ebony was just speaking of. Number one, when she said you have a type that you're holding on to, a lot of times in Mocha, she commented on the screen. So a lot of times your type is the reason you're not happy. Just because it's your type doesn't mean it's what God has for you. If you keep dating your type and you're still single and it never works out, maybe your type is not your type. Maybe it's not for you to be with that type of person. And so like you're hindering yourself. And just like Ebony was saying, what if she would have told me, "No, I'm good. I'm wasting time with somebody else." I would have moved on. But a lot of times you have to let go of what you think you want, what you think you need, because listen, God is not, he's not insufficient. He's not going to give you something that you need, and it's not everything that you want. A lot of times we're so caught up in what we want that we're missing what we really need, and what we really need will turn into what you want. And a lot of times we're so focused on just boxing ourselves in and dating a particular type that you're gonna miss someone good because you're holding on to someone that's just wasting your time. And so you have to get away from those who waste your time. And don't be afraid to let people go. Like, you think you can't live without them, but you're crying every night now. You're worried. Where are they? Who are they talking to? You're putting yourself through hell now when you could be single and sleeping peacefully and be happy and wait for God to actually send someone into your life. But yeah, speaking on,
that's powerful. And have something to say to that. Okay. Hold that thought. But it's funny that Carl said that, because I was just talking with my cousin, and when I was dating this person, yes, and I'll be honest, they had a lot of money. They had an amazing job. They had the car that I wanted. They were kind of flashy, and I kind of liked that, but I didn't trust them. I was, like Carl said, every night I was paranoid. I was wondering, are they texting somebody? Are they with another woman? Because I had certain insecurities within myself. I'm like, well, and I'll just be honest, I'm like, I don't think I had that Coca-Cola shape. I don't have those this and that, things that, of course, men are visual. So I knew what his type was and I knew what he liked. And I maybe didn't feel like I had an abundance of that. So yeah, I was crying at night. I was, my anxiety level was on a different high. I would call my friends to talk about him. I would talk about him, but then still be like, okay, but he's with me, and he did text me, and he did call me, and he did do this. But all the while I'm with this person and I'm getting sick, and my friends would tell me like, "Ebony, are you good?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm good." And they were like, "Are you sure you're good?" But down inside, I wasn't good. I was a mess. And I would make excuses for those behaviors. So I would say one thing to a woman, and even a man: pay attention to the patterns. And sometimes we just get caught up in the surface that we don't see. And I will even say this: a person will tell you too where they're going. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they would even make comments and say, and this would kind of be hurtful, but I still would hang on. Well, I'm gonna marry somebody this year. It might not be you, but it's gonna be somebody. And I would be like, "Oh, quit, you dag." But they were truthful. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And yes, maybe you on outwardly, yeah, you might be that woman that they really want, quote unquote, but their heart might not be there. Their intentions might not be there. And I would say that's a big thing. You want to be at peace. And I wasn't at peace. I would cry and I would talk to like my big brothers that I had about, men like, okay, am I doing this right? And, what's going on? And they would help me and my friends would tell me. But it wasn't until I had a moment within myself and then until I had one of those come to Jesus conversations with someone and it put everything in perspective. And that's when the light bulb went out. Went out and went off. Like, you about to kill yourself over this person that's not fully invested in you like you're invested in them. And that's the worst feeling in the world, to be invested in somebody and they're really not invested in you.
Yeah, and just speaking on when you said that God will send you what you want, what you need and what you want. And I said this at our wedding when we were speaking, when me and Ebony was speaking at the end, is that everything I put down, everything I told God I wanted, it was in Ebony. I mean, when I tell you God got it right down to the
Thank you.
Down to the
cry.
letter. I'm gonna make her cry when it's over. No, but I even told God, I said, okay, I don't have kids, so I do want someone with kids. And I told God this. I said, I don't want it to be boys, because when a man comes into a house and a woman already has kids and they're boys, it's that competition. It's just like when a woman comes in and a man already has little girls. And so I knew that girls would take to a man coming in because little girls want that. But a boy would see you as competition. You coming on my territory. But when I tell you God got it right, Ebony has 4 girls. I said, I don't want anyone with boys. I'm not going to lie. And this may seem shallow to you, but if Ebony would have had boys, I probably would not have talked to her. Just because I don't want to be in that situation where I'm competing with little men that are already in the house. But because I came into the situation and she already had girls, when I tell you God answered every one I had, he did. And so a lot of times, we hold on to the wrong type. We hold on to the wrong person. And we're holding on to them so tight that when God brings your husband or your wife into your life, you would dismiss them. You would dismiss them because they're not tall enough. They're not the weight you want. They don't have they're not working the job you want. Listen, all that stuff can change. Well, everything except for the height. but no, weight can change. What job they're working change. How much money that they make can change. But when God sends someone in your life, they may not look like they're God. They may not look like, but I'm telling you, characteristics, they will hit every point on your list, and you have to have a list. We talked about that, I think, in the first video.
Right.
You have to write down what you want. Stop going through life just accepting whoever says you're beautiful, just accepting whoever gives you the time of day. Have a list, and when people do not hit your points on the list, it's time to move on. Love is great. We've loved some jerks. Like let's be honest. We've loved some jerks. We've loved some thoughts. We've loved I got the look. No, but seriously, okay. we've loved people that are completely wrong for us. So stop basing your decision off of I love them, because God is not stupid. He's not gonna. If God says love would do you no harm, and you're being harmed every day, whether it's verbally abusive, right. Physically, whether it's they're cheating on you, not stopping. God is not stupid. He ain't gonna send someone into your life and be like, this is your husband. He's a jerk, but hey, deal with it. Like, no, God doesn't do right. that. There's only one example in the Bible of God telling a prophet to marry a harlot. Other than that, and that was to prove a point. Other than that, you don't see that in the Word of God. Everyone God chose, number one, love was rarely mentioned. God would say, I want you to marry a woman from this tribe because they're my people. He didn't say find someone you can love. No, he said marry according to purpose. Marry according. When Adam looked at Eve, he didn't say I love her. He never, those words never. He said that she is purpose to be with me. She's a part of me. And so you have to find someone that is purpose to be in your life and build off of love. Start building, start working toward. I love the story of Mary and Joseph when Mary was pregnant, because the Bible says all these characteristics that love is. Love. One of the characteristics says something like, I know it's 1 Corinthians 13.
Get your phone, bro.
Says that
we live. It don't
love.
matter.
Yeah, I know. Everybody waiting. Says that love will seeketh no harm. Love will seeketh not to shame that person.
Right.
Joseph proved he loved Mary because when she was found to be pregnant, he hid her. He said that I love you so much, I'm not going to cause you to be shamed, but I'm going to hide you.
I'm gonna put you away privately.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you away. He says, love beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth, endureth. It rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. And so what it's saying is that, and there's a whole list, it's suffereth long, it's kind, envieth not, vaunteth not, it's not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly. If a person behaves unseemly on a consistent basis towards you, it's not love. Stop basing your relationship and just saying, I love this person, when they don't even fit the characteristics of what love is. But no, Joseph put her away because he didn't want his wife to be shamed.
Right.
He didn't know if, to be honest, he didn't know if she was telling the truth or not. But he says, I love her, so I don't want her to be shamed. And so that's a characteristic of love. Love doesn't want to expose the sins of your partner. Love doesn't want to publicly expose that person. But love will, like the Bible said, it hides a multitude of sin.
It will cover you.
Yeah, it will cover you. Not to say you should willingly do wrong. That's not what I'm saying.
Please don't.
But what I'm saying is that we're all human, and when that person does mess up, not if, when that person messes up, because we're human, you won't get on the phone and tell all your girl, you don't believe what he did, and the news spread, and I mean, come on, like, love doesn't do that. But that was answering the question. How did you know it was right the second time? So that's how we knew. We knew because it was based off more than just an infatuation feeling. But it was like, God, this is the list I want, and this person meets my criteria for a spouse. And so that's what you have to do. You have to have criteria. And so question number 2 comes from Mother Cudgel.
Yes. Question number
Cudgel.
2, Mother Cudgel.
And so it was on the topic this morning, and it says, do you think that later in the marriage, if there was disagreements, she would start to point out to him that he couldn't even afford to buy her an engagement ring? Just wondering your thoughts.
I'm going to answer that because I'm a woman. And sometimes, and I'll say this when we're being petty, because, when you fight, and sometimes you don't always fight fair. And you can bring out the ultimate pettiness. A woman, if she's trying to really be vindictive and mean, she would throw that in a man's face. And I hate to say it, but we would, because at that time when you throwing shots like that's body shots. You trying to castrate a man. Mm-hmm. And that's not always the wisest thing to do, because I know we always joke and you say, we see memes and stuff like that, and you talk, amongst your girlfriends and dudes, they'll say, I'm listening to all the things you talk about your man that he won't do and he doesn't do. But then trust me, they hear all the things that he does do that is good. Mm-hmm. And the minute you castrate him is the minute that he says, you know what, clearly she doesn't have any value. She doesn't see any more value in me. And then you give the devil an entryway, mm-hmm. and one of your girlfriends can scoop him up and be like, well, clearly, he was good enough for you to still marry, even though, yeah, you bought the ring, but he was still good enough, and she'll see the good in him, and she'll see what is there. And another woman can easily come in, and I'm not trying to make it seem like it's so easily like that, but depending on how much abuse this man has taken from you, how many verbal body shots, and how many times he's been castrated, men and just like women can only take so much. So when you say something like that, you are intentionally trying to get a rise. You are intentionally trying to let him know, I pulled your card.
Yeah. And that question came from this morning in the video that we posted. We were talking about, Ebony asked the question, what about the men who can't afford to buy their girlfriend a ring? What if she buys it? And and my answer in that, go watch the video. And so after this Facebook Live, go watch the video.
Just tell the people.
No, I want them to watch the video because it's
good.
God. But I have a lot to say to that. When me and Ebony got together, she would try to buy me things. It could have been something simple like a pair of socks, like whatever.
I would buy him socks because his sock game was weak.
And
amen.
And I told her, don't buy me anything. I was adamant on, no, you're not buying me anything, because in the past, when women have bought me things and then we got into an argument, they would say things like that. They would say, well, I bought this and I bought that, and you wasn't even man enough to pay for this. And that taught me a lesson. Like, that's the reason why now, I'm going to say this because I was raised by a man who pays 100% of the bills, and I understand why. When you go into a marriage and you make up your mind as a man that we're going to do this 50-50, we're going to be partners, we're going to be roommates, when she gets upset with you, there's a chance she's going to bring that up and say, you're not even man enough to pay these. I'm telling you. And so as a man, when you look at all the biblical examples, men took care of the household. Women, I'm not even going to focus on the women. Before God gave Adam Eve, God gave him a garden to tend. He said, tend the garden. He said, she's there to help you. She's not there to be a partner, a roommate with you. You still take on the majority of the work, because when that woman gets mad with you, she's going to bring up everything you have or have not done. And so in my experience, I came into this with those words would never be uttered out of your mouth, because I'm going to do I'm not saying she would say that, but I'm saying that I'm going to do everything I can as a man. I don't want to know how much you make. I can afford this. I can afford to pay the house note. I can afford to put in on the bills. I can afford to pay my own car note, my own insurance. So you help me, but I'm not going to lean on you. This is not going to be a partnership. It's not going to be 50-50, because I've been in situations like that, even the first time I was married, and I have nothing bad to say about my ex-wife. So if anybody says that, they're lying. Watch the video. So, but no, even in my first marriage, I had that mindset, and I was young. I got married at 22, and so I had that mindset, okay, it's just 50-50. But when things would get hard, it was no longer 50-50. It was you not doing what you're supposed to do as a man. And so I choose not to play those games. And that's why I said in the video that as a man, that would emasculate me for a woman to buy her own ring, because that's my responsibility. No, you're not going to buy your own ring. You're not marrying yourself. so you're not going to buy your own ring. That's the one thing as a man that I can do. But like I said, I don't knock those who do it. Those men who go along with that, just know that in a heated argument, it may come up again. Right. You may hear that you wasn't man enough to do such and such. And so as a man, you don't put yourself in that position, but you take care of your business. Like you handle your household. And that's just what I think.
Yeah, I would just say, be mindful of what you say and you speak to your spouse, because we do have the power to hurt. We do have the power to help. We have the power to heal, and we have the power to kill. And if we don't use wisdom, that could be the starting point for division to come in. And sometimes that's all the devil needs is just like a little foothold. Um, Especially, and I will say this, when I one thing that Carl's dad said at our wedding reception when he stood up, he was like, you know, my son has seen me work. My son, I've raised my son to be a worker. I've raised my son to take care of family. He ain't crack a smile. He got up there and said, look, this is what you getting. When you marry my son, this is what you getting. And he told my father and he told my mother sitting there, he said, this is the type of young man that I produce, and my son is going to take care of you and your daughters, and we accept her and we accept her daughters like they are our own. And for me, that meant a lot, because that showed me that, he told me, and he told us, he told everybody at the wedding, I've supported Carl and her, there's him and his sister and his mother, and I've been there and I've made sacrifices. And I always joke to people, I always say, I wanted to marry someone like my father. And a lot of the characteristics that Carl's father said within himself are characteristics that my father had. And I saw those things. And like I said before, to those young women that may have not had those positive father role models, think about your daughter, or think about what you would have wanted in your life. Then pray and ask God to send you help, or send that, to send that into your life to show you and to help you become better, and to show you that there is better and that there is greater for you to have. For me, because sometimes, like Carl said, I would kind of lower my standards, because I'm like, oh, okay, well, this person does meet this, and a little bit, but in this area they're not where it needs to be. And I would try to, make up something in my mind, and I knew it would sometimes it wouldn't be right, but because it was what I wanted versus what God may have want for me. And I will say, with Carl in our life, he does bring a good balance, because, sometimes I'm high strung, and sometimes me and the girls, we are like on 10, and he is like mellow yellow all the time. And sometimes it may be frustrating for me, because I need him to go on 10 with me, and he might not want to take the ride to 10. I still get 6, but at least I know that he's accepting of me, and he's accepting of my girls, and he's a good man. And that's one thing I never questioned. I knew that Carl was a good man. And I was tired of introducing myself, or letting myself go through crap, even though I was scared, like I said before. And I told Carl I was scared to, like, okay, this is too good to be true. And even one of my friends would tell me, stop looking for it to fail. Stop looking for it, and I was tell some young woman, if you do have a man that, is meeting those things on those lists, and if you have prayed, and if you have seek wise counsel, it's okay to let him love you. It's okay to let him in. I would say, of course, the Bible does, talks about guarding your heart and guarding your mind. But if God has presented you with a good man, see it through. Take it day by day. Take it step by step. Learn, build, grow. And, that may be that person that God has for you. Don't settle. Don't settle.
Yeah. So, that's just what we think. So if there are any more questions, please type them right on the screen. We appreciate everyone for watching and all the comments. We're going to go back to, I'm actually getting ready to put up the link to our latest video in the comment section.
And I'm sorry, guys. I am watching y'all. This is our first time again us doing this, so we are this is kind of funny, going live and watching you all. So I know this is probably not Facebook live etiquette, but
yeah,
we are on here, and we would love to hear your feedback.
Also, while we're waiting for questions, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we'll put that back up on the screen. Please go to YouTube and search the Loveless Marriage podcast, or just search the Loveless Marriage. And when you see our lovely faces, please click on subscribe. It's right there on the screen. It's our wedding pic, I believe. Yes, it is.
It is crazy.
And that's the latest video that's on the screen now. Does ring size matter? Go check that out after this Facebook Live Q&A. It's a really interesting video. I guarantee you will have an opinion. You will be texting us later with questions that you wish you would have asked.
Right.
But we're gonna do this at least once a month, maybe twice a month, maybe once every 2 weeks, so we can discuss.
Here we go.
Every 2 videos. I be pushing her to do stuff because
God,
I just gotta get her out there.
Okay, so I will say this, and for me, when Carl presented, because like I said, when we would sit and look at memes and see all these quotes, and I'd be like, oh, these people get on my nerves. They don't know nothing. And I didn't mean it like in a negative way, but
I did.
Because Carl can be petty. When I would read certain things, I'm like, I didn't see, when I was reading certain comments, I'm like, I don't think this person has ever been married before. And like I said, between both of us, we have 29 years of experience this year, if we would have stayed with the people who we were married to. Yeah. So we can kind of tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the ins and outs. And we really wanted to be honest and to be truthful. My fear of doing a live video is because, yes, I love to laugh and I love friendships and stuff like that. I was scared to be somewhat picked apart, but I understand, and like I don't want to sound all churchy. I understand that, you do overcome, by the word of your testimony and by your experiences. So I told Carl, I will do this in order to help somebody. I will be as transparent as I don't want to say as I want to be, but I will be as transparent enough to help someone else, because I believe that there are a lot of young women and young men out there that have been hurt, and not a lot of people are open and honest to share their scars. I can share my scars as far as, being married at 19 and the ups and downs of that, being now an older woman. And this may be surprising. The first time I got my own apartment on my own is when I turned 34, 35, when I was going through my divorce. I never had my own apartment in my own name. It was only, to be honest, I graduated in 1997. I got married in 1998, and that's all I knew. So I can even talk to a woman about, hey, how to start your life all over, how to rebuild. I can talk to a young woman about, sitting in church and running to church so you can just release all of that. And I will tell you, if it takes every Sunday for you going up to the altar to get prayer, if it takes you to be on the floor snotting and crying, you do that, because that's what heals you and that's what helps you. And if you're in the right house, because I do believe that you need that, right, as people starting to talk now about having tribes or people covering. If you have the right circle, they're going to cover you with prayer. They're going to cover you with love, and they are going to help heal you back to life. And I had that, and I am grateful to God for that. So if there's some young woman out there that, she feels stupid that she's crying every day, girl, cry every day. If you got to cry every day, you cry every day, but you cry every day, and you get up and you go to work and you handle your business, and through your tears, God will heal you. I have 4 daughters, so they saw my tears, and sometimes I didn't want them to see my tears, but I believe that they saw my tears and they can see my tears now to see, my mom went through some things, but she didn't let go of God. And I will tell some young girl and some young man, if you've had your heart broken, don't let go of your faith. To me, that's the worst thing you could do, is to leave the person that's standing there waiting for you to run to. And sometimes after a painful divorce, after a painful breakup, after a painful miscarriage, after a painful jacked up abusive situation, run to God. Find peace, find refuge in him, because his love will heal you. And and again, like I said, he will put you in the path of people that will be able to heal you and help you back to life. So that's why I agreed to do this with Carl, because at first I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't want, people to kind of know my business. Not to say my business is better than anybody else's business, but, I didn't want to expose some of my scars, but I'm like, okay, but God, I want to help people, because I want them to know that, there is hope. And that's one thing that our bishop, our wedding ceremony to me was powerful. Like, I remember glimpses of it and glimpses of it. But one thing that I took away from that day, like he said, hope does win. Carl and I both, are starting over with each other. And there was some behaviors that we even learned in our first marriage that wasn't always positive. And now we are unlearning those things and making it work, and every day is not always like, the Huxtables or, there's some days that, we are learning to love each other and learning to, so that I do text my friends, because I have, like I said, I have a very tight circle, and I'll be like, I need y'all to pray with me and pray for me, because this is different. But I'm committed to this, and I'm committed to coming on here every Monday and sharing our heart, sharing our laughter, sharing our tears, and hopes that this honestly will help somebody.
And so everyone is saying that we need to do this more than once a month. I agree, but maybe once every 2 weeks, just to give us a time to rest. Cause we're still doing the podcast. But one question from Miss Brittany Harris, and I'll read it to Ebony. It's addressed to Ebony. It says, "Hi Butlers. Okay, my question to Sister Ebony. I heard your testimony before you and Carl married. Would you say that you had to go through a healing process to date him? Were you dealing with fear? I find myself maybe fearful to open up and let someone in, afraid I would deal with games after I've had a bad marriage. So was there a healing process, number one, and did fear come along with that?"
Okay, I will answer, and I'm going to answer this question honestly, because that's only how I know how to be. Yes, there was a healing process. And again, like I said, I had people that would pray with me and cover me. And one of the ladies, actually, she's on here. I'm not going to reveal to you all who she is, but through me praying and asking God some questions, she told me, she said, let his love heal you. And she didn't even know that Carl and I were talking. She didn't even know, whatever. She didn't even know. And it was so funny, because even when she would talk to me, she was like, I keep saying he. She's like, I don't know who he is. Who is a he? And I laughed, because before this woman came to talk to me, I told God, and I shared this with Carl and I shared with some other people. I was riding in my car to work, and I asked God 3 questions. And one of them was, Lord, if he is the one, I need to know that he's going to be able to financially provide for our family. Number 2, I need you to answer these other 2 questions that I had, because there were some other 2 questions that I had asked. And I said, I said, God, I want somebody that has never talked to me before to confirm this, if this is a go, or if this is a let alone, leave them alone. And the person came up to me, and as they were walking towards me, they said, I heard God say, she's going to answer your questions. And as she got to my face and she smiled and we embraced, and she said, hi, Ebony. And I was like, hi. She was like, God. And I said, God told you to tell me something. And she said, yes, she said. And it was like kind of scary, because I wanted the answer from God, but I was scared to hear what God was going to say. So like I was saying, one of the things she said was, God said, let his love heal you. And like I said, I did need healing, but even now, through the process of this journey with us being together, I'm still being healed. And I even was fearful, even honestly, up until the day I walked down the aisle, I was fearful, because I'm like, okay, God, this seems too good to be true. I'm scared, am I making the wrong choice? What about this? What about that? I had all of these different emotions running through my head, and even my friends they would joke and say, "If we're gonna put you in a wheelbarrow, you gonna go down that aisle." But no, I was very fearful, and
Let me just pause and say I appreciate. Let me just thank Kenya, Ramona, Mocha, Sharifa, Damaris for getting her to the church and
it
for
was a
making sure that
church,
she
it was
was
a
ready.
banquet facility.
For getting her down the aisle. I really appreciate y'all have my best interest at heart.
Whatever. But no, I would say yes. There is a pre-healing process, but like I said too before, if you pray and you ask God, God, give me some signs and some warnings, I believe that He will do that for you. I believe that and then sometimes I will say this too: the devil knows how to play on your emotions too. The devil knows how to give you what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say misfits, but the devil knows how to send counterfeits too, to make it seem like, so like and that's why I say, surround yourself, like Sister Brittany. I already know your circle because I know you. I know your circle is positive, and I know you hear from God too. And that's one thing too. You have to know the voice of God. And I would say that for people in church and people out of church, you have that feeling inside of you, like, this may not, listen to that feeling, listen to that voice, it's not going to steer you wrong. And with me and Carl, I was honest with Carl even till today. Sometimes I still have those moments of anxiety, like, okay, are you sure are we okay? And he tells me, you're good, you're okay, it's going to be good, it's going to be okay, because I was really scared, and because I didn't want to fail. And I felt like my first marriage, I did fail in some areas, and I did fall short in some areas. And like I said before, I told God, if you give me a second chance, I will do it right. The things that I did do wrong. So I will say, let God heal you in those areas. And then you never know, the person that God may bring in your life may be here to help heal you, maybe be here to help get you to where you need. And it wasn't just healing for myself, it was healing for my daughters too. It was healing for, certain things within myself that maybe I didn't feel so good and confident in, that, Carl has daily. I get better. My anxiety, maybe when I first got married, it was on 1,000. Right now, maybe it's down to 500, and that's good for me today. So, I believe that God will send you someone, and sometimes He'll tell me, he'll like, Ebony, look at me, and He'll be like, it's okay, we're good, we're okay, and I'll be like, okay, because like I said, I know we all get all deep and say God is not giving us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of fear is real. If you've never dealt with the spirit of fear, the spirit of anxiety, that thing is real, and it can paralyze you. But like, I just choose to believe. And sometimes I tell myself, what did God tell you? What did God say? And that's my motivation. That keeps me waking up in the morning. That keeps me committed. That keeps me not running away, because, I've invested all this time and this energy, and I see this great, wonderful man. And I just say, okay, well, let me just walk away from it because it doesn't feel right, or it feels weird, or it feels different. When you make better choices and decisions, sometimes it doesn't feel like it would with somebody else, which you're used to. So I would say, yes, God can heal you. Yes, He will heal you. Yes, you are being healed. But healing, even in the Bible, says, when God healed people, sometimes they were healed as they went. As they went, they were healed. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they had suddenly healings, and then as they went, they were healed. So I would say that, if you feel comfortable, like I said, again, look at the signs, listen to the signs, listen to those things, watch mannerisms, watch the way they deal with you. You'll be able to see, you'll be able to tell.
Yeah. We have a random silly question from Angela Harris. Do you guys think looks are important? People say no, and I do and don't. But one fear of mine is having one of those moments where my spouse and I are not getting along, and I start thinking, and you ugly too.
It's okay. You can think he ugly.
LOL, I don't know why, but I often think of this. Yeah, I mean.
That's normal.
It's normal.
I mean, I ain't trying to be funny because Carl says this, and he said this in front of a group of our friends, and I could say this. He was like, she be okay with you. He was like, she be in love if I was light skinned. Because I'll be honest, I had a thing for light skinned dudes. Light skinned and bald was my thing. That's what I liked.
And I ain't light skinned.
He ain't light
going bald
skinned.
no time soon.
And he ain't
no
going
receding
bald.
hairline.
He is extra chocolate.
I'm good with that. The Lord has not blessed me with the bald ministry.
So,
yeah, we good.
I mean, no offense, you like what you like. So, but Carl was okay with that, and he understood. So, he wasn't like tripping about it. It kind of was. I was shocked that he even said that because I was like, "Dag," I kind of felt a little shallow, and somebody else it probably felt shallow. But we all have some type of preference,
and I think it speaks to also you have to be with someone who is confident about themselves.
Right.
Like, I know I'm not light skinned. I know I'm not her exact type, but I came into this thing like I'm me. Like,
right.
If you like me, you good. Like I'm me. And the same thing with Ebony. And so,
So what's wrong with me?
And I think
what's wrong? See, I'm asking what's wrong with me. He ain't telling me. What's wrong with me?
But in the same thing with whoever you meet. And I'm gonna tell all the ladies that are watching right now, the one thing men find highly attractive is confidence. Like, I don't care if you're big, skinny, short, tall. If you walk like you are confident and you talk like you're confident and you come across as if you need me in your life, like, I don't care how I look. And so that is one of the things that men are highly attracted to, is a confident woman. So they could be ugly, they could be cute, but I think if their personality has a lot to do with it.
Right.
Personality has. Any man would tell you, we've dealt with some amazing looking women, but when their attitude is horrible, we will not. We can't do it. And so, even the Bible speaks about that. It's better to be. It says a man would rather be in a small space than in a mansion with a beautiful woman with a
cantankerous something
with a fussing woman. We would rather stay in a 1-bedroom apartment with one couch than to be in a big beautiful house with a woman that's fussing all the time. So it has a lot to do with your attitude, with who you are, how you carry yourself. So and we appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we will do this more than once a month. I'm going to push Ebony. We're going to get at least 2, maybe 3, build up to 4 every Monday.
Help me, Lord.
But we're going to be here every Monday at 8 p.m. I think that's a pretty good time for everyone to tune in. Watch the video on Monday morning as we post the video. Tune in Monday night. Baby steps. We're gonna do twice a month. We can agree to twice a month. So give everyone a chance to watch the video.
And I'll say this. Also, so one of our announcements, because Carl probably forgot them, so I'm gonna give them. So these are your daily church announcements. As of tonight, after we end this video, we do ask that you go over and check out our Loveless Marriage page, Facebook page. We've decided that we are going to make we have made a Facebook page so that if you don't subscribe to YouTube, you can still catch us on Facebook. So please check out the Loveless Marriage. Like I said, it's not up yet. Once we finish the broadcast, we will hit go live, make our page live, and then you guys will be able to invite and share it with your friends and family. And the second thing is that we will be having Loveless Marriage events. So if anybody knows me, I love to eat. Hallelujah. I am probably like a 700-pound woman inside of this body. But I love to eat. I love to fellowship with people. Carl is my introvert, but he's coming out. Hallelujah. He's going to be delivered by the time I'm done with him. I got the oil. He's going to be delivered and set free.
You cannot let everyone lay hands on you.
See, I can't say certain words because my friends told me, Ebony, you can't use this one word.
Yes.
So I can't use this word because we are on national television.
Okay.
But I'm about to help this chocolate man site. But we are going to do Loveless Marriage, and it's not just going to be for married people, but it will be for single people, engaged people. But we believe in people. We believe in helping people, pushing them to their purpose, and just helping them have a good life. So we will have some events, and of course they will all be centered around probably food, because like I said, I like to eat. And I love planning events. So it'll be at a nice location. You can invite your friends to come out and fellowship with us and meet us and just develop good, positive friendships. We all see, everybody talks about, the year of 2018 of, making positive changes and doing better and developing a tribe of friends. And, walking with people that are connected to your purpose. And that's what we're about. We want to build great friendships and help people that, that want honesty, they want truth, and that isn't afraid to swallow that hard pill of truth. So we are here to help you swallow that hard pill of truth while having fun with you. And not only are we helping you guys, but you guys are helping us, and this helps he and I together. This helps us heal too, probably I would say for me, it helps me heal from past relationships and, being open and vulnerable to tell my story and tell my testimony, because, like they say, you overcome by your testimony and the blood of the Lamb. So,
yeah, so we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Before we
Demira said, "Don't say it, Eb. I'm doing good." I've been thinking it in my mind, but I can't say it.
Before we head out, I want to remind you of, like Ebony said, we have our Facebook page that's going to go live tonight, our Instagram page.
We do have Instagram. Yes.
Yeah, and so you can catch all of our clips. We'll be putting video clips up. I think the next podcast we do may be on blended family.
Yeah, we can talk about blended family, because we definitely
those
have,
who have kids.
A blended family.
Yeah, so please, that'll be available next Monday. And so we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Before we leave, we want to remind you of our conference coming up in March
yes.
10th, the Purpose Experience. So we want you to go to cebutler.org and purchase your tickets for the Purpose Experience, as you can see there on the screen. It's going to be a one-day event. Tickets are $30, so only $30. It will be one of the best investments you make in 2018 if you do not know your purpose, or if you know your purpose but you don't know where to start. We want you to register for the Purpose Experience. Purchase your tickets tonight or in the morning. We're going to go back through all the comments. Everyone saying that they really enjoyed it. Also, go to our YouTube page and subscribe to our channel and watch the latest video. Does ring size matter?
Yes.
Does ring size matter? It's really good. And if you missed the first video, love is not all you need. And so catch up with us on YouTube. And
we'll definitely be talking about that too. We'll kind of throw you all some curveballs into our quirky way. Like we tell people, what may work for you, and what may not work. Maybe what works for us may not work for you, but hey, it's just a different way to look at things.
Yeah.
But we really do appreciate you all that have taken your time out this evening to check us out. Hopefully we didn't bore you. And if we did, it's okay. You can tell us. We won't take it personal, but as we bore you, we will invite you to tell your friends that we bored you so they can listen to us bore them, and they may like us. They just might like us. But like we said, I definitely probably might not look like this next week. My hair may be done or not. I'll be rocking this hair, and Carl will be cleanly shaven, because like I told some of my friends, haircuts matter. Men, haircuts matter. So, but we do thank you guys for tuning in. We don't take this for granted, and we're blessed because of you guys. So thank you for tuning in tonight. And in probably a minute, we will go live for our Loveless Marriage Facebook page.
Yeah. So and our first guest, let me just tell y'all who our first guests are going to be. Chris and Mocha Mendengal. When I tell you they are a hilarious couple, been married 13 years, I believe, 13 years. But they are a great couple. I
think 14.
They make it work. 14.
I think 14.
And so yeah, so they can cover a multitude of subjects, and trust me, you will not be bored. You will not be bored.
And not just having, it won't just be Carl and I talking. We'll definitely have other married couples, seasoned couples, young couples. And we also actually we'll probably interview some singles too.
Yeah.
Because we want everyone to be involved in this. We want everybody, look, we might do like the Jet magazine single of the week. It's like, I'm kidding. I'm so retarded. But no, honey, if you want to be married, honey, we here to help you, man or woman. We here to help you get your man in 2018. Praise God. But yeah, so we're just here to have fun and to explore relationship goals, as they say.
Yeah. So also, if you have a podcast or you have an idea for a show, your own show, reach out to me. This is actually done in our home studio. I built our home studio. I'm the executive producer. I'm the lighting man. I'm the background guy. So
he will cut your time.
I'm telling you,
and edit your video.
And this is a Facebook Live. This is not pre-recorded.
Right. So you guys
don't see anybody else doing this. So it's a full production on Facebook Live. So if you all need a Facebook Live video done, if you want it to look professional, if you want to appeal to a different audience, then inbox me. I can definitely help you out with our home studio. 14 years this month, Mocha said.
Mocha and Chris, 14 years.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna have different couples on, different singles, and it's gonna be an arrange. We're gonna have people who are divorced and not remarried, because that in itself is a journey. It's a lot to get over.
Yeah,
divorce and then decide to do it again. I mean, shout out to everyone who decides to do it again, because it's not easy.
It's not.
So we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Y'all need a talk show. Hey, Angela,
come on now. Speak it into existence. Come on, Jesus.
We need somebody who knows CBS or
we need the OWN network. We need
Revolt TV, Complex.
We need Mother Oprah to come through our lane. We'll do you right.
For real.
Shoot.
But yeah, we appreciate everyone tuning in, and we are having fun doing the Loveless Marriage.
Yes.
Please keep us in your prayers.
Definitely.
We're definitely beginning to operate in our purpose, and whenever that happens, attacks come. So just keep us in your prayers that we stay up, trying to help everybody else. We see all the lights as we're getting ready to wrap up. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. My sister, my cousin, all my friends tune in.
And our Harvest Time Church family, friends, Church, and our Elevation Church.
We appreciate everyone for tuning in. And we will see you all next Monday with our next podcast. It's going to be on Blended Family next week.
Yes.
How to come in. I came into a situation with 5 women. Oh, my God.
We're going to teach you how to enter into his courts with thanksgiving.
There is a process.
Be thankful unto her. Bless his name. Because you're going to need Jesus dealing with 5 chicks. You're going to need Jesus.
And on that note, we are wrapping up with the Loveless Marriage Q&A. We appreciate everyone for tuning in, and have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, guys.